Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif, and Baka's not here today because storms in Texas knocked out his internet, so...
Sure. Storms
There was not
in
even
Texas.
a gap. There was no gap. You were like, and I'm Grif, and like literally the rest of your name is now in Baka can't be here because of storms and wind knocked out his internet in Texas.
Well, I mean, I just wanted
That
to
is
get
the
it
rest
out
of
the
it, and
way
that's a
so that
lot
we
of
can,
name. That is a
Time-
lot of
live our
name,
lives.
Time to get a new username.
right? I'm pretty sure that will not fit on an Xbox.
Probably not. Probably not. But
Probably
it doesn't
not.
really need to.
Uh,
So,
Too funny.
we didn't get to have a show last week because it was a holiday, which means we should have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Games has everybody
yeah.
been playing?
I could think of two. That's all I
Really?
can think of that I've been playing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. then.
Well, but I've put a lot of time back into Sea of Thieves. I missed the game so much. And I've been introducing the game to new to people that are Disney fans, and then people that weren't really sure about the game, if they wanted to play, if it was their style or whatever. And since it's free on Game Pass, it's easy to kind of go, hey, why don't you try it now? And so I've been playing a good bit of it, teaching people how to play the game, which is kind of my forte anyway, on teaching people how to play the game. So go in and showing them what to do. But we did go through some of the Jack Sparrow stuff again. I got to go back with my group through the Jack Sparrow stuff for the fifth one, because we never had got to finish the fifth one. Unfortunately, Alyssa wasn't able to make it with us, but I had Old Man and No Pants with us, and we went through. And I liked the last one, but it's not my favorite of the bunch. The third one's still my favorite of the bunch, but it's still pretty good. I mean, it's fun, and lot of it has all elements of the game in it. It's got battles, it's got puzzles, it's got all that stuff on the fifth one, so it's kind of nice. But they also, I am 99.9% sure that in 2 years or less we're going to have 5 more episodes set in this world,
Oh my
set for the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff.
So it's like a long-term relationship, you see.
I don't know if it's long term. I think they could do it one more time and we're good. Like I think that's kind of how it's going to be. I think you're going to have 10 total, kind of like you have with the original Tall Tales. I think they'll add on to the Tall Tales in between, the regular ones, add on to it to build more lore with that. I actually would like to see them possibly look at other fictional stuff that are famous for pirates, maybe Treasure Island, bring in Captain Flint, things like that, into the mix. I think that would be neat. But I really enjoyed the overall what they did with these particular Tall Tales, and I enjoy going back and playing these, where the other Tall Tales I enjoyed too, but they were like, you have to play them 5 times to be able to unlock everything, and I'm like, why 5 is stupid. Why
5
that's
is a
too big
magic
of a
number.
Yeah. So we did play that. So yesterday I even picked it up and started playing, and I was like, you know what? My daughter's got an account. I am going to go on hers, and I want to see how quickly I can level up this character. The only thing this character has ever done is turn in some gold chests and played the Jack Sparrow first thing, which you get no points for other than XP. So I was like, but I want to see how quickly you could get nowadays to at least get a high enough level for like by using emissaries and stuff like that. Well, you have to be a level 15 to get to an emissary in the first place, with the exception of, and tell me this isn't catering to people, Reapers.
Ugh.
You can start day one,
As a
ones all the
Reaper.
way across, and go as long as you get 20,000 gold, which, fun fact, it's 28,000 gold if you finish the maiden voyage, which is the tutorial. You can go unlock the flag for that and unlock the Reaper's emissary immediately. Which I'm like, okay. So, I mean, you still have to be able to fight and play the game and stuff like that. But if you're a volatile human and just want to go out and destroy people,
You can.
it's available to you right off the bat. And I'm like, okay. But I put myself on a solo sloop, and I was like, I'm just going to go around and try to level this stuff up. Well, while I was out, one of the legendary skull forts popped up, which, if you haven't seen one of those, instead of the standard white with the green eyes, this one's like a big red skull. Part of the skull looks like it's missing and kind of fiery right there, and it's got red eyes. And I was like, I'm gonna go there. So I went. I soloed this bad boy for 2 straight hours. Was down to literally the last boss, which was Gracie. There's 3 bosses that are come out at one time, and I was down to her. Few more swipes, I would have completely had her. I had every single one of the other maps that the thing unlocks, everything down. I had taken all their skulls, already put them on my boat so I could have time. Died several times during this entire process, but it was fun.
No doubt.
But I enjoyed the hell out of it. And so I get to Gracie. I go, swipe, swipe. I hear the music about to start for the actual you've conquered the skull fort, right? Power goes out.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No,
power went out
that's
after
a salt
2 straight
mountain right
hours
there.
of that. But I was all right because I thought to myself, this could have been worse. And how, you might ask? This is how it could have been worse. I finished the fight. I go inside, take everything out of the fort, dig up all the stuff, put it all in my boat, go all the way to the outpost, launch, like set the whole thing up, grab my first piece of material, have everything set up, grab my first piece of material to go turn in, and as soon as I go to turn in, power goes out. That's how it could have been worse.
I think that's the same kind of bad.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's not.
You either
It's
get
not,
denied.
because at least, and here's the thing is, you know, the game now allows for, if you get kicked off, to be able to go back in within a 15-minute period. So I was like, okay, let me do that. Power comes back on, right? And I'm like, all right, now I'm just waiting on my router. Cool. And this is like all within 30 seconds. Like it came back on, cool. 2 minutes later, check my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is up and running. I pull up my Xbox, about to hit the button. Boom, power completely goes off again. I was like, done. I can't do it anymore. I'm done at that moment.
All right, here we go. I'm going to give Oak this little bit of advice real quick. Okay, 2 battery backups. They give you about 10 minutes each. If you have one set up on your router and one set up on your computer, even if the power goes out, your internet stays up and your computer stays up, and you can get shit done.
But I wasn't on my PC. I was upstairs, so it didn't matter anyway.
You better buy a lot more battery
I'd
backups.
have to buy 5 of them. Yeah, there's not gonna matter.
Or just get a generator attached to your house so that when the power goes
There
out,
you
it just
go.
I
kicks
like
on.
the generator idea. Just have it go on at all times. But then even then, I'm waiting for it to kick on and all that stuff. So, you know.
Ugh. I mean, that's why
I
I've got
did that.
one right there. This motherfucker.
And then last night, we've got a friend of ours that for the next 3 weeks or so, he's going to be staying at the house. And so there last night, and I finally purchased a game that I've been wanting to play for a very long time. And I had somebody that was willing to play the game with me and is smart enough to play the game. And the way the game is called Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. And if you haven't seen the game,
man.
It's basically you start off with a bomb and you have to learn to defuse the bomb. You have no instructions, only the other person has the instructions and they can't see the bomb. So you're having to tell them what to do. And you can do it in the same room together. The person faces you with the instructions. And you're looking over their shoulder essentially, or looking behind them to be able to tell them what you're seeing, right? Or if you're playing with a friend online or whatever, then they can't see your bomb and they're looking at they're just talking to you through Discord or whatever. But oh my god, some of the stuff that they end up adding to this as you go along. Like you start off and they're like, oh, here's 5 or 6 wires. If it's a yellow, if you have one yellow, then here's the scenario. If you have, you know, one black, is the black the last one? Then you need to do this. You know, like they have all the different instructions and you're reading through them. Lucky for me, my father was an amateur radio operator, so a ham radio operator, and it taught me Morse code when I was a kid. There is a section that literally you're looking at a light trying to pull up the Morse code, which I can't look at and tell you it's what the Morse code itself is. I have to write it down physically. And then I'm like, okay, is there one that's brick? And he goes, yes. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I was like, oh God, I know this one. What is it? And so we were able to get past that part. I just had to get back into my old brain and figure out, find it in the back of my memory and throw it to the front to figure out exactly how to get past that part.
One of those skills you thought you'd never need.
Right. They have another one that I would love to see Grif do this part. Literally, it's 4 buttons. 1, 2, 3, and 4 on there, but they might be in different orders.
Okay.
Then you have a screen above it, and it will do a 1 through 4 on it as well.
Okay.
And so you have to tell the person what the number is on the screen, and then they tell you what you're supposed to do next. Now, when you first start off, it's like push position 2 if it said 3 or whatever, right? Or if it says 4, it's the 4th position. But you not only have to memorize what the button was you hit, as in like based on what the number was that was there, but also what position and number you're hitting. Because by the time you get to the 3rd or 4th of those, it's like, oh, well, you need to hit the, in this particular case, because you got this number up here, then you need to hit the position of the number that you hit in the second one or the first one.
That's too much.
Yeah, memorization, that's not gonna happen.
No.
Oh my God. But we had fun with it because it's basically, most of the time it's 5-minute timers. We had one that was 2.5 minutes. That one was brutal. The 8-minute timer, they added extra stuff to it. There's 7 sections total. They add bombs to each one. So instead of, like in the first section, there's 3 bombs. And then after that, it gradually adds more and more bombs for each one of the sections. And we're on section 5, I think. No, we finished 5. I think we're on 6. And so we'll have like 8 bombs that we've got to go through and do the same thing. And then there's also a free play. So I think you have to unlock everything, and then you can do free play and put as much stuff on there as you want. But like some of the stuff they'll have would be based on the serial number that you're of the actual device. It might have, does it have a vowel in it? Is the last number on it odd or even? How many batteries does it have? It's got different types of computer ports. Does it have a parallel port? Does it have a DVI port on the outside of it? Like all these different scenarios add to what's happening. Like it's very, very different, but it's fun at the same time. Cause like, you're like, I gotta get it. And then you try to get the amount of time that you wanted in. And they added a weird one last night that I was like, why did this explode? We had 2 minutes left. So then I checked on the back side of it, and there's a switch I got to hit every 45 seconds and pull it down. If not, the thing just explodes on its own, even though there's a timer that's normal. And I'm like, oh my God. And then there's an alarm clock that goes off every once in a while. So you got to hit a snooze button on it or just let it go. And which is hard to concentrate when you hear this. It's the loudest thing going on. And then to top that off, you have the light will go off randomly, so you'll be in the middle of something trying to read it for somebody, and the light goes out, and you're like, give me a second, and you're just watching the clock tick. You're like, oh my God. And then it'll flash every once in a while, like this red color, just to like anything to mess you up. But it's really brilliantly done. I think it's even down to mobile now. Like I think it started off as a VR game and a regular game, like just a regular one you can play on PC. They moved to console. Now I think it's on mobile. So I recommend it because it's just like you can play with a bunch of friends. They can pull up the website, go through the stuff, or you can print them out, whatever you wanted to do. We were just using an iPad for him to go through the different listings. But you have to kind of do them in order if you're going to do it that way, just because it's hard to siphon through everything. But that's all. I think that's all I played. I haven't played much.
If I'm not mistaken, when we were at PAX South, there was a group of people that was actually playing that. Keep talking and nobody explodes. They had like this little setup right in front of them, and then somebody had a manual back here reading to them.
Yeah.
They seemed like they were professionals.
Professionals. We're professional bomb dispatch team for this game.
They're called bomb diffusers.
Yes.
The bomb squad.
We're that. Yes.
The bomb squad.
It's like $11, $12, something like that. It's not very expensive.
Well, I played, I got a game last week on the Steam sale called Cooking Simulator, because you know that I like Sims and I like cooking, so I was like, I'll try it out. It was on sale, so I picked it up. I'm dumb. Let me just tell you, I understand that I'm dumb, and I know we were talking a lot about, like, who skips the tutorial and everything. I didn't skip the tutorial, But there are things in this one that they failed to tell you, or either I just didn't see it somehow. Like the whole first chunk of the game is somebody's talking to you and telling you what's going on. You're taking a job at this restaurant that's failing, and the thought process is you're going to be the one that brings it back, and 5-star food all around and all of this stuff. But you have to make these recipes, and it's like, okay, well, we'll start out with something simple, and it was like a salmon steak, so you have to get your steak out of the fridge and put it on the cutting board and season it, and it tells you how much of each seasoning you have to add and everything, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, then it's like, okay, well, we're going to turn you loose to do this on your own, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, where's the recipe thing? I was like, am I really going to have to just remember what I put on that fish? Oh, no. And there's a laptop, so I was like, well, the recipe's on the laptop, so the first, couple of orders that I was doing by myself, I was running over to the laptop every few minutes and opening the recipe thing so that I could see what it said, and then going back and putting stuff in. And it took me forever, and I finally realized there's TV screens around the kitchen. If you click on the TV screen that has the order on it, it'll actually tell you the recipe. I'm like, I wish I would have known that. And I think the other thing, I guess it's probably something I can buy later as an unlockable, but, you have to put stuff in the oven for so long. It's 120 seconds. There's no timer. I just kept opening the oven to look at the status of the item and then closing the oven back, and it was hurting my food prep quality, basically. I'm like, well, how else am I supposed to know? There's no timer in this kitchen. The clock on the wall is not correct. I mean, what do you want me to do here? So, I also can't figure out
do you think there's a timer somewhere, or
I
do you
think
think they're asking
there's
you
one
to
that you
I think
can
there's a
buy.
timer somewhere.
I think that you have to buy it as an upgrade. Because you have to start filling your kitchen with stuff, and stuff's unlocked as you go along. So right now I have 2 boiler pots, a baking tray, a spatula, a hand blender, and a cutting board and knife, and some spices. So
basically what you could do, what they're wanting you to do, is create mediocre food with the best intentions.
Well, I mean, the first
and then
one that I
add
made,
stuff to create the better food.
I think you can also unlock better control over things, because one of the first recipes is this baked trout thing. So it's put the fish on the cutting board, season it, put it on the baking pan, put it in the oven. Which, by the way, I have not unlocked the ability to clean anything yet. So my cutting board, it's still, every time you look at it, it tells you what seasonings are on it. And so every time it's there's nothing on here, but there's all of these seasonings, and so I'm just gonna slap something else down on there. Hope it's, fine. But it was put the trout in the oven. Okay, while the trout's in the oven, get a lemon. And I did, and then it's cut the lemon into 4s, and I was like, okay, I can do this. But it cut it all crazy into 4 pieces, and then you put it on the plate, but you don't get to actually arrange it on the plate. So I just had 4 lopsided lemon pieces, and it put the fish just flip on the top. I was like, this is how I get to 5 stars right here. This is all about presentation. It looks like a toddler made it. The lady's like, this is delicious. I was like, great. Don't look at it.
Great. I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, man. You have to pour, once you make soup and stuff, you have to pick up the thing and pour it into the bowl. But if you pour too much, it negates that you poured any. So the bowl is empty. And I'm like, so I served somebody soup, and it was literally just a little bit in the bottom because it's all that was left in the boiler because I had over poured the first one. I don't understand how I'm going to get better at this game. I think it's only possible for me to get worse at it. But I'm going to play that some more eventually when I have a few minutes. It seems like one of those games that I could probably waste quite a few hours on once I get the hang of it, maybe. Or maybe the point is that you don't get the hang of it. I don't know. Maybe. There's an option to throw everything, so I'm thinking...
Oh, nice.
...that you're just supposed to get frustrated and throw shit. Okay, I was trying to figure out how I could pour the stuff out, the leftover... I had boiled potatoes and I had water still in the pot. I was like, well, I need it. How am I can't... It won't let me just pour it out in the sink, so I just threw it at the sink to get it so that I could use it again. I was like, well, I didn't have another option. So it's empty now.
I was thinking it'd be like you're sitting there with asking one of the people that are in your kitchen, be like, Tim, make that sauce. Tim, he's ignoring you. You throw a fish at his head or something.
Well, it's just me in the kitchen, so.
That's a lot of pressure, though.
It is.
Like, just
No
you to.
shit.
I mean, I wonder if you increases, like, you could tell a sous chef or something what to do later.
I don't know. I imagine, though, that it's going to get to a point where I'm getting, like, because right now it's one order at a time, and it gives you plenty of time to make it because you're still in the, like, essentially the tutorial phase. But I imagine as you go on and your restaurant becomes more popular and gets busier, it will be, here are 6 orders, you have 5 minutes each to get these out, go. And then, like, don't forget anything, don't set the kitchen on fire. There's a fire extinguisher that I can pick up, so I'm sure that's possible. Like, I'm sure it's possible for me to set the kitchen on fire. That's gonna be real fun. And then this past week was my sister's birthday, and so we played Phasmophobia for her birthday because nothing says I'm having a lot of fun when, like, sitting in the van or being told to get in the house and sit in a closet. You know how many times she and I were sitting in a closet together in the house somewhere in the dark, our flashlights are off, just waiting because there's that stupid team sanity below 25% objective now. So, but at one point I thought I was gonna have my first death of the game. Like, how long we've been playing, I thought it was about to happen. That I was in the house when the ghost spawned up. It spawned, like, almost right behind me. It was after me. I ran down the stairs and into the kitchen, and I was gonna go all the way in and go to the garage, but somebody had shut the garage door. And I knew it was right behind me. I could hear it when I came down the stairs. It gave me the little heartbeat thing, which means I saw it in my peripheral vision when I turned the corner. So I knew it was right there. So I was like, I'm dead, whatever. I turned around so that I could just accept my fate. And as soon as I turned around, the hunt was over. And I was like, I'm gonna leave now. Bye.
She got lucky in that one, that's for sure.
I did. It was right behind me. Like, you could hear the stomping right behind me. I was like, this is it. I will just turn around and embrace eternity. So, but no, I lived. I'm good. Still no deaths. I'm wondering how long I can get away with that, though. Especially since I've been in the house more.
Yeah, you've made it pretty far, almost a year without dying.
Chicken's pretty pumped, though. They've released, like, a whole outline of things that they plan to update, and he's speculating that it's going to be a Halloween update. You know,
I would say the same.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I do have the Trello board open, which is where they post all of their stuff now in progress. They're completely redoing all the objectives. They're completely redoing and updating all of the equipment because they've already posted some pictures of what the new equipment looks like. Oh my god, it's so much better. It's actual.
So basically, the new designer guy that he came in and goes,
Yeah.
"Let me help you."
Yeah, let me make you some
sure.
real assets instead of all of the stuff you've already bought.
Which is nice, absolutely nice. Mm-hmm. And they're going to do different levels for each piece of equipment too. Where you, like, I think one of the examples is you're going to have matches, which only have so many uses, and you can only kind of light it once. And then you get a cheap lighter, which only has so many uses, and then a Zippo, which you've got a lot more uses. So it's more things to invest money in because, I mean, I'm sitting at $30,000.
Yeah, I haven't had to buy anything in a long time.
And I'm sure Baka's close to like $45,000. I've died so many more times than everybody else.
This ghost hunting thing is somewhat lucrative. Well, if you ignore the amount of times that you've died.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part of it that doesn't make it lucrative in real life. That lack of real ghosts. But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do it, but you do. Yeah. Some people would.
One piece of equipment has been reworked and will be used to find extra evidence, which is neat. It's interesting to see what they're going to do with that. Yeah, they're going to completely redo the leveling system, which is very nice.
I wonder if they're going to reset
money
everybody.
And rewards. They might.
Or reset and let you keep your money, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I heard that.
Well, the way it says is leveling will be reworked with additional XP needed to reach higher levels, so our levels will probably get shrunk.
Yeah.
Because it'll take more. Because right now it's 100 XP to level. And I'm like level 400.
Yeah, the levels don't mean anything outside of playtime, essentially. It's just an indicator of how much you play.
Yeah. So, and he's gonna make a level cap. So once you hit cap, you can basically...
You can prestige, is what it is.
Yeah, you could prestige and add a special flair to your account so that you can see how many times you've prestiged. Which, it's fine. It's just a simple little thing. I'm more interested in the money rework and the progression style, because right now, the game is good when you only play because it's fun. Like,
Yeah.
there's no progression to it. You just play because it's fun.
Yeah.
The money and rewards. More dangerous objectives will reward more money. No one should risk their life for $10.
Yeah, like survive or get a
And-
picture of the ghost or something like that. Oh my god. $10.
My favorite one is escape a hunt from the ghost and survive.
$10.
Let's just say I didn't survive a couple of
No.
those times. We tried to
No.
bait the ghost out too, and it did not work, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And he's gonna completely rework the difficulty, which I'm super excited for. Like professional difficulty does actually add something different. Like the
It
power
does now.
starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the power is off, so all the rooms are cool. You've got to turn on the power so it raises the temperature of the house so that you can start trying to find the room with the ghost in it. So it's a little bit harder, and the ghosts can hunt almost immediately, so you're in a much more
Vulnerable
stressful
position.
situation. Yeah. That's the stuff, like all that stuff is what he's working on now. Like it's a progression, like the progression style of the part of the game they're reworking, which is cool. The backlog part though is the stuff that I'm excited for because that actually changes the gameplay. Let's see, which one was it that I was? Oh yeah, increases uses for temperature. Opening windows, heaters moves the ghost. Like turn on a heater in the room, which warms up the room, which scares the ghost out of the
I
room
don't
and
think we
changes
need
its
that. Why do
actual
you want to
ghost
move
room.
it? Why?
Well, because that would be a safe area at that point too.
Like if it's too close, like if it's in the far back of the room, or if it's getting too aggressive in that room, you scare it out of that room, and it has to find another room to haunt before it can start hunting again.
I wonder
It
if
also
it'd be-
or turn off your power, right?
Yeah.
Because you've turned on the heater, so it's got to go find something else to do real quick and then come back.
Yes, or one of the other things is opening up windows. If it wants to hunt, it'll fucking open a window to cool down the room faster.
that would be
So,
I
like,
would be out
you'll have
so
to
fast.
close the
If a window
you have to
opened
close
next
the
to me,
windows.
like
Or
nope.
if you turn on a heater, it'll open the windows so that it stays cool, and you have to more ways to interact with the ghost to try to where it's trying to kill you and you're trying to prevent it from being able to kill you. Like I like that kind of dynamic between the
All you got to do is read the Ouija board, right?
Guess.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
You can read
Well,
the
if there's
board.
a Ouija board on the map, I mean,
Yeah, all sorts of different stuff, new ghosts, ghost events, hallucinations.
no.
Which is
Oh,
It's bad
that's
enough
great.
that you can hallucinate the lights flipping on and off. Like I don't
Yeah.
need actual.
Speaking of that, they're working right now on Green Hell having a VR mode. And that was one of the things that No Pants and I were talking about was like, you could play this game in VR
and hallucinate.
and it'd be like a little survival game. But what do you do when your sanity level goes out? You're already hallucinating when that happens. Imagine doing that in VR. So now you would be doing that inside of, for the Phasmophobia, you'd be doing the same thing then too, because that's got a VR mode.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like,
want to play like once I get a VR, I'm definitely gonna try this game out because I'm gonna give this game because a new game that I found recently.
there's a
has
VR
been-
at the office. Borrow it.
It's just sitting there. I know. I know. But damn, what was this? Oh yeah, a game I just found that apparently it's been being worked on since 2015. It was just released in June, so they've been working on it for 6 years. It's incredible, by the way. All
What
the
is
reviews
it?
are very. It's the shit. What's that game called?
I like that you're like, there's this game that I'm super into and I have no idea what it's called.
Exactly.
I've tried not to get all super hyped about it.
Is it the
so-
one that you were telling us about, the space one?
Yeah, Pulsar. This one is for you too, Oak. Like if you've
Okay.
got 4 people, it's Sea of Thieves meets Star Trek.
Pulsar
Okay. With-
Lost Colony.
Yes. It's 1 to 5 players.
Okay.
There every person has to have a specific role. There's the captain, the pilot, the scientist, the weapon specialist, and the engineer. You all have to, it's first person. You all have to do your job on the ship to keep it running. You've got to
Okay.
keep the power. You have to examine the planets. It's got a little No Man's Sky in there too. You teleports to planets. You can walk around, explore, get weapons and things like that, and upgrades.
Who's operating the ship while we're...
I put
Why
it in
we
the IR channel in the Discord.
You don't want to leave everybody off the ship because you can be attacked by other ships in the area.
Yeah, it
That's
looks
why
like
your
it's
pilot.
one of those, like, it could be a little complicated.
It is very complicated
I'm
because
worried
the
about my
captain
ability to
has
play
to, like, it's so intricate. Because the captain has to keep tabs on everybody else's job and the health of the ship, and give orders to where people need to go to keep the ship moving and whatnot, or warp out of there because certain sectors are infected, and you don't want to stay in there too long because you could get attacked. But it's super neat. I'm very surprised that I have not seen this game until just now. The graphics are not like blow me away. Wow, they're simplistic.
It looks a
but you
lot
play
like
more
the same
again for the
graphics
gameplay.
as what was the other space exploration game that we played where the stuff looks like macaroni? Oak played it too.
Astroneer?
Astroneer.
Yeah, that. It looks kind of like
Yeah.
that. Some of the
I can
resources
see
look
that.
like macaroni.
It's similar, yeah.
But yeah, it's a very work together, keep the ship going kind of thing. You got to explore the universe, find 4 chips that are placed around, and then you can open up a space station, fight a giant boss, and get to the lost colony.
Potato chips.
Once it goes on sale, I'm picking it up. It's going to be something. It's perfect for 5 players.
$25.
Yeah, it's
$25.
$25.
Yeah.
And it just came out of early access too, so that one is definitely on my radar now. No pun intended for a spaceship.
The best part about this is we can't see the expressions on her face.
I know.
Everybody else can. Everybody can see my disappointment.
But as I was saying about that game being in early access for so long, I foresee Phasma being in early access for quite a while too.
Is it still
it's just 3.
I guess it is.
Oh yeah, they're still working on it. It's not ready yet.
I bet it's gonna have a big October update though. Bet you're right about that.
Oh, for sure. Like
I think your lighting's going to change dramatically. Like I think it's going to be more optimized, look more RTX for stuff. Like it'll like with that game. Like I think it's him taking the assets that he purchased and the new designer coming in and going, but look, here's a lamp, but here is my lamp. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like,
let's start changing things out to make things look a little better.
Yeah.
And he's not dumb. He knows that Halloween is his prime time to sell. So do a big old, visual graphics, full progression overhaul. Everybody come check it out, and your friends are buying it, and your friends' friends are buying it, and now it's back to being the #1 streamed on Twitch again, and you just push copies out, and then you spend the next year, and then he'll probably, if I had to guess, it'll be 2 years on Halloween when he fully releases the game.
Huh. Okay, yeah, I could see that.
I can see that.
Because I think this year he's going to do the full progression overhaul. Next year's probably going to, if I had to guess, he's going to completely graphically overhaul the entire game. Like,
I think once it's graphically overhauled,
assets.
I think once it's graphically overhauled, he ends up, Sony ends up contacting him about putting it over there for their VR system.
Yeah, that could, because he did this specifically because he wanted a VR co-op horror game.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully he won't sell it to them.
God,
He'll just be like, hey, yeah, I'll let it be on your console too. You let me work with your PlayStation VR headset, or you let me work with your PlayStation headset.
Right.
So I could see that. Get a nice little investment, work with another VR headset, which, I mean, I haven't played the game in VR, but I know that Red can't play it in VR. It's a little too much for him.
Well, what else
But
have
there are some
you
titles.
played, Chicken, aside from just Phasmo?
Wow, that's it?
That's
Just, wow.
a lot of that.
I like at the beginning, she's like, we've had 2 weeks off. Obviously, we've all
Well, I mean,
played several games.
I've played a lot of WoW. I've played some Mass Effect. I tried out the cooking simulator thing. I've been reading a book. So, I mean, like,
I didn't
I've
even
done a lot of
play. I
stuff.
didn't even. I think I only bought one thing off of Steam, and it was a 2-pack for 7 Days to Die. 7 Days to Die, I think that was it.
I bought a
Yeah.
few things off of Steam. I just haven't played them.
Yeah, I only bought the 7 Days to Die because Grif already has a copy. I've got 2 copies now. And eventually we're going to host our own 7 Days to Die server like we do with Ark and just be able to play it It's a zombie survival crafting building game, so it's just a different kind of arc. So we'll try that later.
We'll try that once we finish.
Definitely
our
different.
Arc.
Oh, I'm sure it's
I
definitely
don't know.
different.
Maybe I can have zombie pets. You don't know.
No.
That one actually has a thing to where, like from a streaming standpoint, you can set it up. Somebody can take their channel points. People have channel points. You can actually use the channel points to be able to do stuff in the game to troll the person streaming.
Lovely. Oh, like
And you can help
Vermintide.
them
Let's
out,
spawn
too.
ogres. Let's spawn ogres.
Too funny.
That's all I've played. It's just a bunch of fucking WoW. A bunch of WoW.
Well, then do you guys want to talk about news stuff? There's not a whole lot of
Sure.
it, but we can.
The very minimal.
Well, I mean,
What do we want to talk about first?
how about your Super Switch? Yeah, that's definitely what that was gonna be. The Super Switch is gonna be so cool.
That is not the Super Switch.
That is not it.
That's not it.
No, it was not actually a Super Switch. It's just a Nintendo. Basically, Nintendo was like, "Hey, look at this. We made a Switch with an OLED screen, and it's got a bigger hard drive. It's very exciting. Super Switch."
No, it's not the Super Switch. Do not spread fake news.
No, it is the OLED Switch, because
There you go.
OLED.
like
OLED
Nintendo, you
Switch.
could have given it some sort of name. Like,
Okay, the positives from this, okay, that I can see is, first of all, the screen is going to look cleaner because it's OLED.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, is because of the fact you are getting a bigger hard drive, so 64 gigabyte, and it's white. That looks really good white to me. I like it. Is it worth it if you don't have a Switch? Sure.
yeah,
Other than,
if you haven't already
I mean,
invested.
if yours is messed up, you're trying to give your kid yours, and you need another one, cool. But other than that,
This is not the one you upgrade to.
No.
Also, I find it really, really just wild in my head that we're like, oh, it has a much bigger hard drive. It's 64 gigs. We talk about consoles and need like 3 or 4 or 5 terabytes.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's like, this is all you need. You could install every game known to man from Nintendo on this thing.
But that's not exactly true. But yes, I understand what you're saying. You got to put an external, external, it's a little card in there to extend it.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, that's 64 gigs to fucking 5
64
terabytes.
Well, I
gigs
mean,
wouldn't hold
they
most
added
of the
40
console
gig to it. It was
games.
like 25 gig before.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot, because you figure the operating system probably takes up 4 gigs, so you're actually getting 60 gig of actual space to use. So that's not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean that's like not even Call of Duty. That's like half of Call of Duty that you
half
could fit
of
on
Call
that
of
thing.
Duty.
No, Call of Duty is 500 gigabyte now.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
Oh my
It's like
God.
a tenth.
That's like half of Final Fantasy 15.
Oh my God.
Yeah, when you start thinking about console game sizes versus something like that, yeah, it's gonna be half of a lot of games,
Mm-hmm.
or less than half.
Sure. I love the fact that they're like, oh, and we got a fancy new kickstand on it, which is just basically, instead of the little kickstand that came before, it's the whole plate kind of moves.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole back plate now.
It's a fancier kickstand.
Yeah.
If you don't have a Switch, you can get this one, or you can hold out to getting the Super Switch, which I assume.
This is the Nintendo Switch OLED LTD edition. Is basically what I'm looking at. So when you buy an LTD car, it's just got a little bit more bells and whistles than the original
Yeah.
edition that you could have bought. That's all it is. This one has air conditioning. I mean,
This one has
Enjoy
air
it.
conditioning.
This one has air conditioning.
heated seats.
God.
There you go.
There,
Done.
that's probably better. Yeah, this one's got heated seats. Here's your difference.
Oh, yeah. So, this really isn't the one that we were looking for, but Nintendo.
This is not the Switch you're looking for.
No. Get out.
To me, it feels like it's the Switch Lite, just in the other direction.
Switch Lite Plus.
Yeah. Well, this is the Switch Plus.
It's a Switch Plus.
Yeah,
the
it's
Switch
Switch-
Lite
Switch
doesn't.
Plus.
The things don't remove. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
Switch Plus.
Yeah.
Not. It's not the Super Switch yet. It's just Switch Plus.
Yes. Yes.
So.
Pretty much.
Oh, I mean, I guess in news that is but isn't news, because that is but isn't really exciting. There's a Silent Hill conversation happening because everybody's talking about is there, isn't there. Bloober Team says that the Silent Hill leak is based on outdated or incomplete information. So basically, we're not making that, but we're not making one, but we're not doing that. So, like, Silent Hill is Schrodinger's cat. It is and is not simultaneously being made. Always. Constantly. So
I'm gonna go on record to say that Grif brought this one to our attention. I skipped over it because I didn't want her to get her with more conspiracy theories, but she is all in.
I'm not. It's not conspiracy.
She's like, there isn't
theories.
one. She said there isn't a Silent Hill. It never existed. There will never be one. She's gonna play it. It's gonna be It's gonna be announced. She won't believe it. It'll be released. She won't believe it. She'll play it and beat it, and she'll be like, "Wow, that was a great dream," and she won't believe it's out.
Well, let me tell you, if you follow the Silent Hill community, like at all, Reddit or anywhere else wise, this whole Bloober Team thing has really rended this community. Because there's one side of it that's like, Bloober Team sucks, and there's no way they could make a good Silent Hill, like our classics, like Silent Hill 2 and 3, and oh my god, you could never touch that kind of stuff, they suck. And then the other side that's like, yay, we might finally get a Silent Hill game, cool. I mean, this community is just headbutting right now over this thing, and I really think that it's going to be almost impossible to release a Silent Hill game at this point that satisfies everybody. Like, it's just... Some people's expectations are set way too high and you can never get there. And some people have their bar set so low that no matter what you give them, it's going to be like, yeah, this is alright. Like, it's not going to be great or anything. They're just going to be like, I have a Silent Hill game. And that's it. Like, it's neutral. You're just not going to win. Not going to win. But it is but isn't being made. But is, but isn't.
It is,
it's like,
and isn't being
this
made.
it's slowly becoming Half-Life 3. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
We're to Half-Life 3 point right now, which is, somebody's going to turn around and go, well, they just hired a guy whose name is Sherman Howard, and that is SH as his name. So obviously they're making a new Silent Hill is what the real thing that's happening right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're getting to that point.
The mental gymnastics are really starting to take off on this one. But I guess in a similar direction, there's a Kojima piece. Xbox and Kojima are apparently talking about maybe working together for a publishing deal, which is, interesting considering that Death Stranding was a PlayStation exclusive until it hit PC. So
Okay, first of all, if Microsoft dangles the Game Pass in front of you, you bite. They're like, you want a little Game Pass? You want a little game? You want to come over here? I got some money for you.
I think the main thing on this one is I think it was nearly a year before it came out on PC for Death Stranding, and I think and even then, didn't it hit Epic first, or did it hit Steam too? It had Epic first. So you had exclusive, and then finally ended up hitting all of PC. But I think this is one of those where he's looking at it going, but if I go ahead and put it on have Xbox do it, I can have it on PC day one, and have this entire variety there. But also, I think he's, I think he's wanting to cut ties at some point.
I'll be honest. I think Kojima does not like to have his stuff narrowed into an audience. I think because he likes attention and likes to kind of put his stuff out there and it be praised so hard, and it being in one market kind of takes that away from him. But if you just kind of put it out there and the whole audience gets to play it together, he gets to, yeah, that's right. Bring that praise to me. All of it.
My favorite part of this is going to be those Sony fanboys that are out there that are going to be like, no, Microsoft is taking away our guy, Kojima, blah, blah, blah. And it's like literally Kojima and them having talks. That's all it is. Stop panicking.
Hey, first of all, Kojima lives off that too. He's like, oh, my fan base. Oh, they're going to miss me. Keep calling for me.
That ego.
Keep calling for me.
That ego.
He's got an ego. Everybody knows he's got an ego.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes good games and he tells some wild fucking stories, but he is good at what he does.
What are you talking about? Wild stories? I can totally breathe through my skin if I ever have that problem later on in life.
Oh, yeah. Would you kindly explain Death Stranding to me just from the trailers? Just
from the trailers, I cannot. I will be playing that game at some point and still probably not be able to explain that game to you.
That's my plan, is to buy that Death Stranding on the next Steam sale, which should be in the fall, so that I have time to maybe play it, so that I can buy it and play it and figure out what the hell is going on with it. Like, all I know about it, even after I've talked to people that have played it, is you deliver packages. What is all the other stuff about then? Like, what?
Nothing.
They've
You deliver
announced the
packages.
director's cut of this game. Okay, so let me get this straight. You own the studio. It's got your name on it. You created this game. It's your baby from start to finish. But yet, somehow,
Stuff got
it's
cut.
a director's cut later on. Tell me how that's even a thing.
It's a monetary thing, is what it is.
Yeah, like you couldn't come up with another. Just call it like a definitive edition or something. It didn't need to be director's cut.
But director's cuts are cool right now, so that's gonna catch eyes, which it did. Obviously, caught your attention.
It's just because I made me mad.
Yeah,
That's what he called it.
I don't
was like,
disagree
it's
with you on
literally
it,
you.
I just find that it's like that he's got his name up here. You tell he has an ego. He's got his name above the title of the game and his title below the title of the game.
Director's
It's
cut.
like Hideo Kojima, director's cut of Death Stranding. Who cares? Just look at my name, both places.
Look how cool I am.
My name, my job.
I would
Name
love
of
it.
the game.
I would love it too, just to be in the room when the guy was like showing the artwork. It's like, okay, this is what the artwork would look like, and he'd go, "Can you make my name a little larger?" And then he brings in the artwork again and goes, "No, can you make it a little larger?" And he comes back in and goes, "Okay, that's awesome. I really like that. Could you put it on there again somewhere?"
Yeah.
How
Change
can we
it
work
up a
it
little
there?
bit. Can you just remove Death Stranding from the title too? Can it just be Hideo Kojima director's cut? Like just
A director's
put
cut
that
of
across
yourself.
it? Yes.
It's like him leaving and going to grab some sushi or something from down the street, and that's all it is. It's just a video of him
Oh
doing
my
it.
god, that's the director's cut right there. I'm surprised that he doesn't stream, like just stream his life, or vlog it or something. I guess that would take away from the mystique, though.
Yeah, I was about to say he likes the mystery of.
You think he would do it though, like for like conventions and stuff like that? Now that he's free, so now everything's starting to open up a little bit. He makes his way over to the U.S. for any reason for a convention. It could be. It's the Kojima stream. Do you follow Kojima on Twitch?
Well, the last two articles we have are really like I don't have any way to,
They're just random bits. We'll do the Nexus mod one first. They're not gonna allow people to delete mods off of their delete mod files off of their website anymore.
As somebody that uses Nexus Mods and has gone back to find a mod that is apparently since been deleted, thank you, please. This is so frustrating. I mean, for me, it wasn't as frustrating as it could have been because it wasn't a mod that got deleted and I needed to go re-download it or else I couldn't run my game at all. But other people have run into similar problems. Or you can't run a save file or things like that. So this will be nice. And you can still, there's a way that you can still be like, I don't want it displayed on the main page, but it kind of archives it, I think is what is going on.
Yeah, they're gonna archive some of them.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm okay with this. I don't see a problem.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it helps solve a problem of people, like developers being an asshole and removing their mods, which can break people's games and things like that. Just because, I get maybe I don't know, you don't want your mod out there anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
I feel like, but if your game is dependent, if your mod is dependent upon another mod, then if this mod goes, and let's say there's 7 mods that are stacked, you got to figure out which one caused the problem.
Yeah.
This keeps all that from being an issue.
That's kind of, you're preaching to the choir when it comes to modders to start with, because that's a problem that's been happening. And that's one of the things that is like, a lot of the communities like, yes, finally, so this does not happen, because sometimes it is just a disagreement between two creators, and one of them's like, well, fine, your whole mod's built on top of mine. I'm just going to pull mine and you'll never see it again. And now look what you got. It's like,
Ha 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 ha, right?
yeah, I mean, you can't stop people from being petty sometimes. even if it affects people outside of the ones that you're trying to be petty to. So this aims to cut down on that kind of like nonsense, essentially. So
Right.
you know, is what it is. I think it's going to be a beneficial good thing. I don't see the negative, really. But
No.
I also say this
and
is
they
somebody
said they
that
were going
doesn't
to take
make
it out of
mods.
the store itself, but that it was still available, right?
Yeah, so if I had downloaded it, you know, at some point, it'll probably still show up on my, you know, do you want to re-download this option, but I might not be able to find it on the storefront. Well,
Right.
storefront page. It's not, you don't buy them, but, you know, mods are fun. They make games enjoyable in different ways. Like, how many times have you played Skyrim? Well, do you want to play Skyrim as a crab person? Because now you can. There's a mod. You know, things like that. Like, you know, I mean, sometimes they're immersive. Sometimes they're just fun. The crab one would be a lot of fun. There is a giant crab with a monocle that I'm pretty sure is on Nexus Mods. So,
What?
yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah, I don't have it in my Skyrim when I get back to playing that because I'm trying to play an immersive version of Skyrim before I start playing like all the fun silly stuff. Which is why I don't have like
You don't think a big giant crab with a monocle is very immersive?
I mean, if you,
What's wrong with you?
I wish Baka was here for this conversation because he has put some of the most outrageous mods in Skyrim. Like, he played like half a playthrough as Deadpool with like a lollipop instead of a sword. It was just absolutely ridiculous. So, you know, I'm sad that he has to miss this. Stupid internet, stupid storms.
Exactly.
And then the last piece of news, 36 U.S. states are suing Google over alleged Play Store monopoly and antitrust practices. I have not read this article. It was
Okay,
apparently one that I skipped over.
No, it's all right. Basically, what has happened is you've had a because of the fact that you have the Android App Store. It's the same argument that we've had with the Apple Store and the Android App Store. I think this one actually, even though it is kind of a meritless lawsuit, and the fact that they're bitching about the 30% again. Oh my God, taking 30%. And then that's the only way you can sell anything on an Android phone. This one might have more teeth than the Apple one does. And the reason I say that is because Apple keeps everything in-house. So from start to finish of the actual making of the phones themselves, and actually even their computers, everything is in an Apple part of the Apple company. This would follow more under kind of what happened to Windows when it came to their browser, and the fact that you had to use their browser at one point on Windows. And in this particular case, you're having to use Android, since Samsung, HTC, all these different companies have the Android device to have Google Play. They might have a little bit more teeth on it, in the fact that you can you don't have as much of a choice on a phone. If you want to go to Android, this is all you got. So your Apple, Android, and it's still, I don't think it'll go anywhere, because I agree with Google on this one, which is security. Like, it goes back to security. The minute you open it up, you're going to end up with a problem.
Okay.
But I don't really think that there's going to be it's not going to have as much teeth to it as the Apple. I mean, it's going to have more teeth to it than the Apple one does, but I don't think it's going to be that much. And it's not like Epic. I think Epic is still going after Google, or are they just going after?
I think they're
don't
just
even know
focusing on Apple
anymore.
right now.
Yeah.
Reading this comments, though, it's the main issue is not the 30% cut. Like, that's not the main part of the argument. It's the terms and conditions imposed by Google on OEMs that's anti-competitive. I'm not a legal expert, so I'm going to try to read this and explain it as best I can. To be able to use Google Play and Google Play services, OEMs are required to sign agreements, which are the systems that are installed on it by default, are required to sign agreements regarding prioritizing and preferences given to the Google Play Store. This means that while Microsoft can make a deal with Samsung to make their productivity suite the default pre-installed options on Samsung's phones, Epic could not enter into a similar agreement with Samsung without Samsung losing access to the Google Play Store. So basically, Samsung is like, all right, we got Microsoft, and then that's it. Google says you cannot do that with anybody else for our Play Store. You are only allowed to enter an agreement with one person, and that's it. And that's the issue that they're having, is that they're deciding who you can work with and who you can't, and that's antitrust, because that's driving competition down. Because Samsung isn't allowed due to that. Isn't allowed to work with other people.
Well, but Samsung's phone's being used as an example, but
Right.
Google doesn't own Samsung. That's Samsung
But
making
that's
that
the
decision.
problem. Is it the terms and conditions if Samsung wants
Right,
to
but
use the Google Play
if
Store?
Samsung has a problem, you create your own software to do your phone. You chose to put. It's the same way. If I buy a PC, I have two choices: Linux, Windows. Most of us choose Windows because you have more variety available to you. If I buy a Mac, I have one option and one option only.
Mm-hmm.
And so with this, but I know what I'm buying when I'm doing it. I think the problem you run into, there's not enough competition in the market. And because basically it is either Android or iOS. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your two choices for operating systems on phones. And that's why I think it's going to have more teeth, but I don't know what limit they'll end up having to be able to pull on there, because there is going to be a major issue. It's not going to be to where there's going to be an extra store added onto the system. I don't see that happening on any of the platforms. I think it's going to be.
It will happen eventually, I guarantee it, because on Windows already, as we see, like Windows has just become an operating system, and that's it. Like eventually there will be a Steam, an Epic Store, there will be other options at some point. It's just how long are these companies going to fight that off, or how long is Google going to be able to hold them off before it's
I think the difference you run into is, even though we run our machines off Windows, right?
Right.
And Windows does have their own cloud systems built in. Majority of our security system is set inside of our actual computer itself. It's not set in Washington, it's not set in the state of Washington in a server somewhere, where anybody that owns an Android phone, all of your security information is sitting at Google. And I think that's what they're trying to protect and worried about.
That
where
will
with an
turn
iPhone, it's all internal.
That'll eventually turn to the same point that our computers are. These will just become computers. That's it.
I think at some point you're right. I think it's just going to take a while to do it, because again, it's adapting, right? Everybody's having to adapt, and when you start controlling the market over and over and over again, and you become the bigger player, I think that's where Apple's been smart in both cases. They've never had an antitrust against them in the PC world, because of the fact it was a specialized type of computer. You can still go on and purchase from Steam and do all that type of stuff too, but the security is different the way it's built. With Windows, it was 80% of the market. Actually, more than 80% of the market. At one point, it was 90% of the market.
Steam is on Linux, right? Or
Yes,
Steam is
it's
on the
everything.
iOS. Okay. See, that's the thing, is eventually Steam will be on the Apple phone too, because the phones are just going to be an extension of a computer at some point.
Right.
So it's different. I mean, because if Microsoft would have been released in this day and age, your only option would have been the Microsoft Store, because they would have kept all the competition off of Windows to force you to buy everything through the Windows Store. But because they're so big, they're just like, fuck it. I mean, everybody uses it. The more access people have on our platform, the more people that will use the platform.
Well, but basically, they got, like with Windows got in trouble with the actual United States government because of the fact they had been forcing people into it. Where you have with this particular case, you're dealing with several different manufacturers that are having this arguments on there. But what's interesting to me is it is a battle between how much control can a company have over its own workings and what's available on its own platform versus accessibility, right? But you're also dealing with two different battles. You're dealing with Samsung having that access and availability, HTC having that availability, and then Google and Android, the Google Android side having theirs. How much control can they have?
Yeah,
well, you're using our stuff, so here's the agreement you're having to use. Otherwise, create your own stuff. Is the thought process?
I guess if Windows would have been making phone operating systems, they would have left it open source too. But because Google tries to keep everything inside of their own thing, they don't want extra stores.
Windows was a closed system. I had a Windows phone. It was a closed system, and it was actually connected to all of my other Windows accounts.
And you couldn't get Steam or anything like that on it either?
Nope.
Yeah. See, that's going. That
But
will
now, to be
eventually
fair,
change.
at that point, the technology wasn't up to where you probably could either. Like it was when Windows 8 came out is when I have a Windows phone, because I had all the little
You got that
panels and
Windows
stuff,
Vista
right?
phone
So
right there.
yeah, but I mean they bought Nokia, right?
Yeah.
Motorola.
So.
Who they buy?
Yeah, it was,
Nokia.
I think it was Motorola.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
But because phones are still new and the way they work, they're less open. All these companies are trying to keep everything condensed into their own stores. That will change eventually. I guarantee it. As technology moves and the laws someday catch up, they will open up to. And I mean, yeah, phones are strong and good right now, but give it another 10 or 20 years, and these things are going to be unbelievable.
Crazy.
They will be like a Nintendo Switch with how powerful they are. You could do anything on them, play anything, and it will look just as good on your computer. So, being able to have a Steam store on your phone so that you can buy your games and play them on your phone is just the next step that we're going to head towards eventually.
It just shows how
you know
much we
what's-
need to like how much we haven't thought about regulation on anything to do with the internet. We're just now
It's
figuring it
because the
out.
people that are making the laws
Wild
are
West.
nearing the 100-year mark.
Yeah.
You know what though? I just thought of this. I can actually purchase a game on the PlayStation Store
Okay.
on my phone.
Can you play it on your phone?
No, you can't play it. Well, I mean, if PlayStation has the technology, yes. So I can Xbox, because Xbox has the technology available too. Well, I can't because I have an iOS and they're only doing it with Android, but currently. But I'm wondering if I can purchase it that way, and because it's on something different, then it's allowed. But I'm still purchasing it through the actual store. I just have to, or through their app, but it's not going through iOS for that. So I'm wondering
I wonder if
that's how anybody's going to
percentage.
loophole that in the long run. Because theoretically, Epic could have come up with a cloud system
You
and
can't put
it
Steam
linked
on
to their
your
system, and it
phone?
wouldn't be a problem.
Oh, you have
Do I
an
know?
iPhone.
You can put Steam on-
Okay. I thought there were. I'm sorry.
He
I was
means play
reading about
Steam.
the
Yeah.
legal
I'm
stuff.
talking about
Okay.
like playing
Okay.
Steam, like playing
Sorry.
Yeah,
those
he's not
games.
talking about the current Steam app for your phone.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, you
'Cause
could-
I was like,
you
I
could
have
buy
it on mine and I
and,
could buy stuff.
Yeah, but you can't play it. That's
Play-
the
well,
difference. Is you can only play
My phone,
things that are
if
bought
I tried to
through
run
the
Cyberpunk
store
on my phone, it would burst into flames.
right now. But in another 15 to 20 years, you're going to be able to play things like that without any problem. And that's the thing. That's where everything is going to start changing, is that when these phones are able to run the games that you can run on your PC and you don't have to buy them through the Play Store, then that's where the turn for the stores on a phone are going to change. It's like you can only play things that you buy through the Apple Store or through the Google Play Store. But when phones get strong enough to where you can play anything on Steam, then you just buy games through Steam and play them. And how is that going to be handled? Is Google going to be like, well, you can't play games on your phone from Steam? That will cause
So
problems.
I'm wondering how things like Stadia and Luna work. I got the Luna app on my phone right now. I'm wondering if there's no purchasing on Luna right now, because
they're
it's
not?
no, it's you just pay the fee and it works like Game Pass, and the fact it's free and it's there and it's working. But Stadia has actual purchasing. So I'm wondering
you
if
could buy it
if you
and
have
play
to
it
purchase
through
it on a
that.
computer and then
Then you have access to play it. Interesting.
yeah, because it's a streaming service, not an actual.
Purchasing service.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm wondering how that would work.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see, because I mean we're still very young in the internet and tech era. Like by the time I'm 50 or 60, it's gonna be entirely different. Like this stuff will be ancient history with how fast technology is going.
We're not
right
going to
now.
talk about you being 50 or 60, okay? Because I know how old that makes me. So,
what, 50 or 60?
oh, aren't you sweet?
Wow.
Yeah, I gotta get brownie points. But yeah, I think like these are going to start coming up more and more often as we go through the years, because laws are just old and outdated and have not caught up to modern times at all.
Nope. It'll be a while.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that's the last little bit. That was a very short week. or a short 2 weeks. There's not really much going on.
Yeah.
That should tell you a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole lot going on, for sure. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. Not for me.
We do appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week on Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfraResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Grif.
At Grif's Line.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
And you can check out Baka at Baka Pickle.
Yeah.
Also, make sure that you go to Grif's YouTube channel. She's got all these. It's a plethora. I'm telling you. It's all these games that are there because you got until the fall. You got to catch up by the fall, and then you'll know who you're dealing with by the fall. And then leave all these messages, and she'll answer them in the fall.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Somebody's new. Somebody just showed up today. They're brand new. You don't know.
Brand new.
Brand new. So make sure you go to her YouTube channel. Link will be down below. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313. Chicken will be available at some point.
Probably around the same time as me.
Yes. Yeah, that's for sure.
So it'll be at some point. And then also go to twitch.tv/MDB Oaktree. I have been taking a 3-week hiatus. I almost said hiatus. I don't really know what that is. Hiatus. But hiatus. I am trying to do some stuff around the house and things like that. Playing video games with friends instead of just, online all the time. That as well. So I will, I was supposed to be starting back the week of July the 19th. It'll probably be about middle of the week because that'll be exactly 3 weeks since I took the break. But when I go back in, I'll go in full force and enjoy that. Also, I have booked everything for PAX West. So if you're going to be at PAX West the first weekend of September, so Labor Day weekend, I'll be there as well. So just hit me up and let me know. For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Grif.
I'm Chicken. And that's Baka.
Yeah. Bye.
Wherever he's at. Bye.
Please hang up and try again.